lie, they been lying, but your shit is not that inspiring.
I wanted to announce this before we even get into gambling.
Good.
Because I'm excited. But February 9th, for anybody that's watching from Australia, I'm coming back to Australia the first time in 8 years.
Kendrick Lamar is on fire. Coming off the massive success of his GNX album, which boasts some of the highest second-week sales figures of the decade, Kendrick's momentum shows no signs of slowing down. Even as holiday music floods the charts, Kendrick still holds 3 top 10 spots. Add to that SZA, another powerhouse from Kendrick's camp, preparing to drop her highly anticipated deluxe album, and you've got a team that's dominating on every level. All this buzz is culminating in Kendrick Lamar and SZA's upcoming Grand National Stadium tour. This isn't just another concert series, it's shaping up to be a historic moment in music. With massive venues like Sophie Stadium in LA and the Rogers Center in Toronto added to the tour, Kendrick is breaking records before the first note is even played. Toronto in particular is drawing attention because it's Drake's home turf, and Kendrick isn't just playing there, he's performing in a venue that Drake himself has never headlined. Drake has faced immense pressure as Kendrick continues to dominate. Fans and critics alike have noted a shift in public perception, with Kendrick being hailed as a visionary artist and Drake's tactics increasingly viewed as petty. According to reports, Drake may have plotted to disrupt Kendrick's Toronto shows by pulling a move straight out of 50 Cent's playbook, buying up floor seats to make the venue appear empty. If true, this would be a desperate attempt to tarnish Kendrick's image, but here's the kicker. This strategy wouldn't work. Unlike 50 Cent's stunt against Ja Rule, where tickets were dirt cheap, Kendrick's shows are high-demand events with premium prices. Even if Drake purchased tickets, he'd only be padding Kendrick's bank account. And let's face it, Kendrick's reputation is too solid for such a ploy to make a dent. Beyond the ticket-buying rumors, Drake's actions hint at deeper insecurity. For instance, he scheduled his own world tour to coincide with Kendrick's Super Bowl performance.
Because I'm excited. But February 9th, for anybody that's watching from Australia, I'm coming back to Australia the first time in 8 years. Coming back to Australia on tour. It's actually, funny enough, called the Anita Max Win Tour.
Really?
A move many see as an attempt to steal the spotlight. While Drake has avoided direct confrontations in the booth, his cryptic social media posts and behind-the-scenes maneuvers suggest he's determined to undermine Kendrick in any way possible. But Kendrick's strategy goes beyond music. He's cultivated a movement, uniting some of the most talented creatives in the industry under his banner. From Baby Keem to SZA, his team is redefining what it means to succeed in hip-hop. This unity and vision stand in stark contrast to Drake's increasingly isolated position, even within his own city. One of the most telling signs of Kendrick's dominance is his ability to command respect in Toronto, a city that's long been synonymous with Drake. By securing the Rogers Center, a venue larger than anything Drake has headlined there, Kendrick has sent a clear message. His influence knows no bounds. This isn't just a win for Kendrick, it's a shift in the cultural landscape of hip-hop. Drake's rumored attempts to sabotage Kendrick's tour highlight a stark reality. Kendrick's rise is unstoppable. His GNX album has outperformed expectations, setting streaming records and solidifying his place at the top of the charts. Even as Drake's monthly listener count falls behind Kendrick's, the latter's star continues to rise. And it's not just about the numbers. Kendrick's music resonates on a deeper level, addressing social issues and pushing creative boundaries. His tour isn't just a series of concerts, it's a cultural event, bringing together diverse audiences and showcasing the power of storytelling through music. Meanwhile, Drake's antics, from cryptic social media posts to rumored ticket-buying schemes, only serve to highlight his desperation. Instead of focusing on his craft and reconnecting with fans, he's engaging in tactics that undermine his credibility. This contrast between the two artists couldn't be clearer. Kendrick's rise is built on authenticity and artistry, while Drake's struggles stem from insecurity and a lack of vision. Looking ahead, Kendrick's Grand National Tour is poised to be one of the most iconic events in hip-hop history. With SZA, Doechii, and other talented artists joining him, the tour represents a new era for the genre. It's not just about individual success, it's about building a legacy that inspires future generations. For Drake, the path forward is less certain. As he grapples with the fallout from his actions, he faces a choice: continue down the path of pettiness or focus on rebuilding his reputation. The stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching to see how he responds. As the feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar continues to dominate headlines, the dynamics are becoming more complex and personal than ever. Recent developments suggest that Kendrick's strategic decisions are as calculated as they are impactful, and they might involve more than just professional rivalries. One of the most intriguing speculations making waves is the possibility that Kendrick's collaboration with SZA on the Grand National Tour is more than just a creative partnership. It could be a subtle yet powerful message directed at Drake. SZA, known for her ethereal voice and chart-topping hits, has a history with Drake that has added another layer to the ongoing tension. Years ago, Drake famously mentioned in a song that he dated SZA back in 2008. While the reference seemed innocuous at the time, it's now being revisited in light of Kendrick's decision to feature her so prominently on his tour. Fans are speculating that Kendrick is using SZA, Drake's former flame, as a symbolic way to assert dominance over his rival. The idea isn't far-fetched when you consider Kendrick's reputation for meticulous planning and layered storytelling. By elevating SZA, who has become one of the most celebrated artists in her own right, Kendrick might be making a statement about loyalty, collaboration, and mutual respect, values that stand in stark contrast to the pettiness often associated with Drake's actions. It's a move that not only highlights the strength of Kendrick's team, but also subtly challenges Drake's narrative of supremacy in the industry. Adding fuel to the fire, Kendrick and SZA's tour announcement coincided with the reports of Drake's alleged attempts to overshadow the event. From scheduling his own tour, to align with Kendrick's major performances, to cryptic social media posts that seem to take jabs at his rival, Drake's actions are being scrutinized more than ever. However, Kendrick's response or lack thereof is telling. Rather than engaging in direct confrontation, Kendrick is letting his work and the unity of his team speak for themselves. It's a strategy that has not only preserved his reputation, but also amplified his impact. Speculation aside, the inclusion of SZA on the Grand National Tour has undeniable implications for both artists. For SZA, it's an opportunity to solidify her place as one of the leading voices in contemporary R&B. Her involvement elevates the tour from a hip-hop event to a multi-genre spectacle, broadening its appeal and ensuring its cultural significance. For Kendrick, it's another example of his ability to curate a cohesive vision that brings out the best in everyone involved. For Drake, however, this collaboration might feel like salt in the wound. Despite his undeniable success and influence, the narrative surrounding his feud with Kendrick continues to cast him in a less favorable light. While Kendrick's decisions appear intentional and empowering, Drake's actions often come across as reactionary and defensive. This dichotomy is becoming increasingly apparent, and it's shifting public perception in ways that could have lasting effects on both their careers. The rumored tension isn't just limited to the artists themselves. Fans of both Drake and Kendrick have taken to social media to debate the significance of SZA's role in this ongoing saga. Some see it as a calculated move by Kendrick to further assert his dominance, while others view it as a coincidence blown out of proportion. Regardless of the interpretation, the buzz surrounding the tour has only grown, ensuring that every performance will be closely watched and dissected. As the feud unfolds, one thing is clear: Kendrick Lamar is playing the long game. By focusing on collaboration, artistry, and strategic planning, he's positioning himself as a leader not just in hip-hop but in the broader music industry. His ability to navigate complex relationships and turn potential conflicts into opportunities is a testament to his vision and resilience. For Drake, the challenge is not just to keep up with Kendrick, but to redefine his approach. Like the strategies that once worked for him, whether it's chart domination or high-profile collaborations, are no longer enough to maintain his position at the top. If he hopes to reclaim his standing, he'll need to move beyond the tactics of rivalry and focus on building something that resonates on a deeper level. The Grand National Tour, with its powerhouse lineup and record-breaking potential, represents more than just a series of concerts. It's a cultural moment that encapsulates the ongoing evolution of hip-hop and the shifting dynamics of its biggest stars. Whether or not Kendrick intended to send a message by featuring SZA, the implications are impossible to ignore. As fans and critics continue to analyze every move, one thing is certain: the story of Kendrick Lamar and Drake is far from over. The Kendrick Lamar and Drake feud seems to be evolving into a saga that's equal parts strategy, artistry, and drama. With every move, Kendrick continues to reinforce his position as a deliberate and calculated force in the music industry. The inclusion of SZA on the Grand National Tour is being dissected for its potential deeper meaning, but even beyond this, there are layers to the rivalry that speak to the high stakes and personal nature of their ongoing battle. Recently, reports have surfaced suggesting that Drake's attempts to counter Kendrick's tour plans aren't just limited to cryptic posts or competing schedules. Insiders claim that Drake's camp has been actively exploring ways to redirect attention away from Kendrick's shows. From exclusive leaks about his upcoming projects to sudden collaborations with big-name artists, Drake seems to be pulling out all the stops to maintain his grip on the spotlight. These tactics, while not unusual for the industry, stand in stark contrast to Kendrick's quieter, more purposeful moves. One particularly interesting angle that has emerged involves Kendrick's broader vision for his tour. By bringing together a lineup that includes artists like SZA and Doechi, Kendrick is fostering a collaborative environment that elevates everyone involved. This approach aligns with his long-standing commitment to building community and amplifying voices beyond his own. For Drake, who has often been criticized for prioritizing his personal brand over genuine collaboration, this serves as yet another point of contrast that underscores the different paths the two artists are taking. Adding to the speculation is the timing of Kendrick and SZA's collaboration. Fans have noted that SZA's presence on the tour and her increasing prominence within the Top Dog Entertainment camp could be viewed as a way for Kendrick to showcase the strength and unity of his team. This, of course, stands in stark contrast to Drake's sometimes fractured relationships with past collaborators, fueling the narrative that Kendrick's rise is as much about his team's cohesion as it is about his individual talent. Interestingly, rumors have also surfaced that Drake might be planning a surprise release, a tactic he's employed successfully in the past to coincide with Kendrick's most high-profile tour dates. While this could be seen as a direct challenge, some fans believe it reflects a deeper insecurity. By reacting to Kendrick's moves rather than setting the agenda, Drake risks reinforcing the perception that he's playing catch-up in a rivalry where Kendrick has the upper hand. Another facet of this feud lies in the public's response. Kendrick's fans have rallied around his ability to stay above the fray, focusing on his art and letting the work speak for itself. Drake's supporters, meanwhile, argue that his willingness to engage, even in petty ways, shows a level of vulnerability and relatability that Kendrick's calculated approach lacks. This divide among fans highlights the broader cultural implications of their rivalry, with each artist representing a distinct philosophy on what it means to succeed in today's music industry. As for SZA, her role in this narrative continues to evolve. While some see her as a key player in Kendrick's strategic vision, others view her involvement as an organic progression of her own skyrocketing career. Regardless of the interpretation, her presence adds a layer of intrigue that ensures the Grand National Tour will remain a focal point for fans and critics alike. Looking ahead, the question isn't just whether Drake can find a way to reclaim the narrative, but whether Kendrick's dominance will usher in a new era for hip-hop. By prioritizing artistry, collaboration, and a sense of purpose, Kendrick is challenging the norms of what it means to be a top-tier artist. Drake, meanwhile, faces the challenge of evolving his approach in a way that resonates with audiences who are increasingly drawn to authenticity and innovation. The stakes couldn't be higher. For Kendrick, the Grand National Tour is an opportunity to solidify his legacy as one of the greatest artists of his generation. For Drake, it's a chance to prove that he's more than just a hitmaker, that he can adapt, innovate, and thrive in a landscape that's rapidly changing. And for fans, it's a front row seat to one of the most compelling rivalries in modern music history. Drake's ongoing rivalries with Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd have become defining narratives in the modern music landscape. These conflicts, while often framed as professional rivalries, delve into deeper questions of legacy, influence, and the evolving nature of artistry. Drake's persona as a master collaborator and chart dominator contrasts starkly with Kendrick's focus on introspective storytelling and The Weeknd's rise as an independent global phenomenon. Let's explore how these tensions have shaped their careers and why they resonate so profoundly within the music industry. The friction between Drake and Kendrick Lamar traces back to a fundamental difference in their artistic philosophies. Drake has built his empire on adaptability, tapping into trends and collaborating with a vast array of artists to maintain his relevance. His music often blends genres, creating a versatile sound that appeals to a broad audience. Kendrick, on the other hand, has carved a path defined by artistic integrity and social consciousness. Albums like Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, and To Pimp a Butterfly are not just commercial successes but cultural milestones, tackling themes of systemic injustice and personal struggle. Their rivalry came into sharp focus with Kendrick's verse on Big Sean's Control, where he explicitly called out Drake alongside other prominent rappers. While many dismissed the verse as a playful challenge, its impact was anything but lighthearted. Kendrick's lyrics positioned him as a disruptor, unafraid to challenge the status quo and demand accountability from his peers. Drake's response was subtle, relying on veiled references in his music and interviews, but the tension was unmistakable. This dynamic, Kendrick as the provocateur and Drake as the aggrieved superstar, has continued to define their interactions. For The Weeknd, his relationship with Drake began on a promising note, but quickly soured as their career trajectories diverged. Early collaborations on Take Care showcased a synergy that hinted at a lasting partnership. However, The Weeknd's decision to decline an offer to sign with OVO Sound marked a turning point. This refusal wasn't just a rejection of a business deal, it was a declaration of independence. By aligning with Republic Records, The Weeknd asserted his desire to control his artistic destiny, a move that clashed with Drake's vision of OVO as a collective powerhouse. The fallout from this decision was evident in their subsequent interactions. While Drake publicly supported The Weeknd's rise, subtle digs and competitive moves suggested underlying resentment. Tracks like The Hills, which competed directly with Drake's Hotline Bling, symbolized a shift in their dynamic. The Weeknd was no longer a protege but a formidable peer, capable of challenging Drake's dominance on the charts. Drake's responses to these challenges reveal a pattern of competitive maneuvering. For instance, his decision to announce a world tour on the same day as Kendrick's Super Bowl performance was widely interpreted as an attempt to overshadow the event.
I wanted to announce this before we even get into gambling.
Good.
Because I'm excited. But February 9th, for anybody that's watching from Australia, I'm coming back to Australia the first time in 8 years. Coming back to Australia on tour. It's actually, funny enough, called the Anita Max Win Tour.
Really? No, stop.
I swear. It's the Anita Max Win Tour. Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast.
Yeah. See a lot of W's in chat, a lot of
yeah, a lot of
boys.
W's in the chat. Anita Max Win Tour, February 9th to like March something. So
Similarly, rumors of surprise releases timed to coincide with The Weeknd's album drops point to a strategy aimed at maintaining control of the narrative. While these tactics have kept Drake in the spotlight, they also highlight the growing influence of his rivals. Kendrick and The Weeknd's successes represent a broader shift in the industry toward artists who prioritize authenticity and creative freedom. Kendrick's Top Dog Entertainment has cultivated a reputation for fostering individuality and collaboration, allowing its artists to thrive without compromising their vision. Similarly, The Weeknd's trajectory from an enigmatic newcomer to a global superstar embodies the power of self-determination in an era where traditional industry structures are being challenged.
Congrats! I mean, number one, you got that. You have the number one album. You have 20 songs in the Billboard Hot 100, Top 100. That's unbelievable.
It's been a slow week.
Yeah. Congratulations!
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Yeah. No, thank you for everyone that supported, and we're all very grateful. It's
that's why you're a hardworking guy.
Thank you.
And it pays off.
Thank you.
Personal dynamics further complicate these rivalries. Drake's rumored involvement with Bella Hadid, The Weeknd's ex-girlfriend, introduced an element of personal drama that blurred the lines between professional competition and personal vendetta. From suggestive lyrics to high-profile appearances, Drake's actions seemed designed to provoke, adding fuel to an already volatile relationship. For Kendrick, the rivalry remains firmly in the professional realm. His refusal to engage in public spats or personal attacks underscores his focus on the art, reinforcing his image as a purposeful and principled figure. The inclusion of SZA in Kendrick's Grand National Tour adds another intriguing layer to these dynamics. Given her brief history with Drake, her alignment with Kendrick's camp could be interpreted as a subtle assertion of loyalty and unity. Whether intentional or not, her presence highlights the stark contrast between Kendrick's cohesive team and the fractured relationships that have often characterized Drake's collaborations. Looking forward, these rivalries offer a window into the evolving nature of success in the music industry. Drake's adaptability has been his greatest asset, but it also places him at odds with an industry increasingly drawn to narratives of authenticity and resilience. Kendrick and The Weeknd's approaches, rooted in artistic integrity and independence, resonate deeply with audiences seeking substance over spectacle. As these tensions continue to unfold, they reflect the broader challenges of navigating fame, influence, and legacy in a rapidly changing landscape. For Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and The Weeknd, the stakes are higher than ever, and their ongoing stories promise to shape the future of music in profound and unpredictable ways. Drake's ability to stay relevant is unparalleled, but it comes with its challenges. His strategy often relies on absorbing and amplifying trends, making him a cultural chameleon. This adaptability has allowed him to dominate charts for over a decade, but it's also drawn criticism for lacking authenticity. This critique becomes even more pointed when compared to Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd, both of whom have carved distinct identities rooted in their own artistic visions. Kendrick Lamar's approach is almost antithetical to Drake's. Kendrick prioritizes storytelling and substance, creating music that challenges societal norms and invites listeners to reflect on complex issues.
For the broccoli, high key, keep a horn on me, that could my seat, IP, ownership, the blueprint is by me, Mr. Get Off.
To Pimp a Butterfly to Damn are celebrated not just for their musicality, but for their cultural significance. Kendrick's methodical releases and refusal to chase trends stand in stark contrast to Drake's prolific output and omnipresence. This difference is a key source of their rivalry, with Kendrick's art often viewed as a critique of the very commercialism that Drake embodies. The Weeknd's trajectory adds another layer to this dynamic. From his early days as a mysterious figure in Toronto's music scene to his global success with albums like Starboy and After Hours, The Weeknd has consistently defied expectations. His refusal to sign with OVO Sound was not just a business decision, but a declaration of independence. By establishing himself outside of Drake's shadow, The Weeknd proved that he could achieve superstardom on his own terms. This independence has often been framed as a rebuke to Drake's perceived need to control the narratives around him. Personal relationships have only added fuel to these rivalries. Drake's rumored involvement with Bella Hadid, The Weeknd's ex, blurred the lines between personal and professional competition. The move was widely interpreted as a provocation, one that underscored the tension between the two artists. Meanwhile, Kendrick's professional relationships, notably with collaborators like SZA, have remained largely drama-free, reinforcing his reputation as a focused and principled artist. The role of SZA in these dynamics is particularly intriguing. Her presence on Kendrick's Grand National Tour alongside The Weeknd's history with Drake creates a subtle but impactful narrative. It highlights the strength of Kendrick's team and the unity within Top Dog Entertainment, contrasting sharply with the more transactional relationships often associated with OVO Sound. Another element worth noting is how these rivalries reflect broader shifts in the music industry. The rise of streaming platforms has democratized music, allowing artists like Kendrick and The Weeknd to connect directly with audiences. This shift has diminished the influence of gatekeepers like Drake, who built their empires in a pre-streaming era. While Drake has adapted to this new landscape, the success of Kendrick and The Weeknd highlights the growing importance of authenticity and narrative in building lasting connections with fans. Drake's responses to these challenges have been strategic but not without controversy. From surprise releases to overlapping announcements with Kendrick's milestones, Drake's moves often seem designed to dominate the conversation. However, these tactics risk backfiring, as they can come across as reactionary rather than innovative. For Kendrick and The Weeknd, their ability to stay true to their visions while navigating the pressures of fame has only solidified their positions as leaders in the industry. Ultimately, the rivalries between Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and The Weeknd are about more than just music. They're about legacy, influence, and the evolving definitions of success. Each artist brings something unique to the table, and their ongoing tensions continue to shape the narrative of modern music. As they push boundaries and challenge each other, they're not just competing, they are collectively redefining what it means to be a global music icon in the 21st century. Thanks for watching. Check out our other videos, dive deeper, stay curious, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, inside out.